What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Creative Hunter podcast. Thank you for hopping on today on this episode. This is episode 32. So far, the podcast has been awesome. I've missed a couple weeks the last few weeks, mostly because I haven't had a ton of time to sit down and film an episode. But we're back on track. I'm back at it. I'm home for the foreseeable future. Until the next hunting season comes up, which is going to be like spring bear hunting. But even then, I'm only going to be gone for a week or two during that time frame. So we're getting back on the podcast train. If anyone has suggestions on people to reach out to, people to have on the podcast that you think would be good fits, definitely let me know. There's a couple that people have already suggested. I just haven't got to them yet. So I'm going to work on that, get some people on the podcast that you guys want to hear from. This podcast is really centered around two things: hunting and videography, and photography. Just like the creative side of capturing content, and then hunting. They're my two biggest passions. I know there's a lot of people in the industry that have the same passions. My whole channel, my Instagram, YouTube, podcast is all kind of dedicated to those two things: is hunting and cameras, and it's just what I love. So that's what I want to talk about, and talk to people who love the same thing, and just work with those types of people. So anyways, kind of recap the last few weeks for me. I went on I've been on three kind of consecutive hunts. I went on my deer hunt, which I already recapped and gave you guys a story of that in the last podcast. So if you haven't listened to that, you should go check it out. It's a cool story. I filmed everything, so I'm going to put together a film to go on YouTube in the next month or two. And then the other two hunts, both of them are kind of a little bit private clients. One of them especially, we were capturing photos and video assets for a specific company, and I'm not really able to talk about it a ton, which is totally cool, but we got a bunch of content, and fortunately didn't harvest anything on that hunt. The next one I can talk a little bit about. It was with the Hush crew. I just went and filmed a hunt for them. The hunt's not released. They've released some things about it on their story, but other than that, I'm just going to leave it up to them to decide what they want to share about that. But it was a really fun hunt, and I got to know the Hush guys pretty good. I was out there with Casey and his two sons. So anyways, now I'm back to the grind, in school still this semester, so I'm working on finishing my classes the next few weeks, and then which school will start back up again in January. But we just had Thanksgiving, so I was hanging out with family for Thanksgiving. A bunch of snow up where we were hanging out at my dad's place, and we got a Christmas tree. It was fun. So life's been good. I have been, if you haven't seen, I have the Bino visors that I've been selling. If you want to check this out, you can go to Instagram. I've got a couple posts up about those, but I've kind of talked about it a little bit on the podcast too. But essentially, it's made out of Cordura, and it's a cover that goes on the end of your binos. If you're listening right now, you might as well just go check it out. If you're watching, I don't have one on me right now, but you should check them out on my Instagram. And it shades the sun from your binos, from your spotting scope, from your rifle scope. If you ever tried to shoot into the sun, and the sun's like glaring into your rifle scope, you just throw one of these bino visors on the end of your rifle scope, and it completely blocks the sun. And it folds flat, so you can stick it in your bino harness or in your backpack, wherever you want to keep it. I keep mine in my bino harness, so it's really easy to get to. I can throw it on my binos, I can throw it on my spotter, whatever I need, block the sun, and it literally will make a difference between finding animals or seeing an animal and not. Like it's literally the difference of finding an animal or not seeing it at all, because when that sun can be brutal. So go check this out. If you use the code podcast15, you guys will get an exclusive discount, 15% off on those bino visors. They're $30. So if you want one, go grab one. Get 15% off. Use the code podcast15 on CreativeHunterMedia.com, and I'll link those below in the description on all these videos. Let's hop into kind of the nitty-gritty of this podcast. So Today I wanted to talk about 5 things you can do to improve your hunt films. And I'm going to kind of talk about filming your own hunts and a little bit about filming other people's hunts. So there's kind of 2 parts of it. But there's 5 super good tips that are going to help you really no matter what you're doing when it comes to filming and capturing a hunt. So first one is probably one of the most important ones, and I think most people kind of get this and understand it, but a lot of people probably could benefit from this, and it is making sure your camera is always accessible. So if you throw your camera in your backpack, you go out on a hunt, and your intention is to capture some of that hunt by filming it. If your camera is in your backpack the whole time, you're not going to pull your camera out just to get a hiking shot or to like capture a moment. And even when it comes down to it, if your camera's in your backpack and something happens quick, you're never going to have time to grab your camera out of your backpack just to film something. This is like something that everyone who is a professional in the industry or has a lot of experience is going to understand this. So there's a couple options you can do, and I mean, essentially it comes down to keeping your camera outside your backpack and mounting it on your chest or your backpack straps. And there's a couple different mounting options. Peak Design has one, Cotton Carrier, which is my personal favorite. They have one, and there's a bunch of new ones that have come out recently. They probably all work pretty good. I haven't really dove into any of them because I've got the Cotton Carry system, and I love it. So it's the Cotton Carrier Strap Shot is the name of the product, and essentially your camera just slides in it and twists, and it locks in there. And then to get it out, all you do is twist the camera and pull it out, and it's ready to go. So you can put 2 cameras. You could even put 3 cameras on your body if you want to. There's even some Cotton Carrier makes some different straps that are like a chest harness or like a hip pouch attachment, or you just get the 2 shoulder strap attachments. Or I mean, you only need one if you just have 1 camera. But if you're running 2 cameras, it's perfect because you got cameras on your chest at all times, and you can have different lenses, whatever, different bodies, and you're ready to go. All you do is flip the camera off, boom, you're ready to go. So that's really important, especially when it comes to hunting, because hunting is never planned, or most of the time it's not planned. So if you are trying to capture a hunt, especially if it's a run and gun, if you're hiking around, glassing, moving spots quick, trying to get into position to kill an animal, if that camera is not super accessible, you're going to miss shots, you're going to miss things. So that's one of the biggest things that I would say you need to look into if you're going to get into filming hunts. And if you don't have this and you're already filming hunts, definitely something you got to get. Especially because if you're going to just try to carry your camera with a neck strap, that thing's going to be bouncing around everywhere. You're going to eventually smash your camera on something or whatever. Like that's not the most comfortable way to do it, even though it could work and you might get away with it. It's definitely helpful to have a camera system that keeps your camera safe and accessible. So number 2, and this one is important to me, it might not be important to as many other people, but it is understanding hunting as a whole in order to capture a hunt to the best of your ability. And yeah, I mean, the more that I think about it, like, it probably is really important, and it's something that a lot of guys overlook. I consider myself to be a pretty good hunter. Like, hunting is my passion from as young as I know. That's kind of why I got into filming and photography, is because I just wanted to hunt more. So, I really make it a point to make myself as well-rounded of a hunter as I possibly can, in order to film and produce content for the hunting industry to the highest of my ability. And I take pride in myself. I truly do for understanding hunting in a way that maybe a lot of other guys who are into the creative side of things don't really see it. So the reason that this is a big deal is because if you're going to go on film a hunt for a client, um, there's probably the reason why they're the ones behind the camera is probably because they're a pretty good hunter. So they're going to be making decisions and making moves and doing things that are based off of their knowledge of hunting. And so if you can just be well versed and kept up on, as good as you can be at least, on hunting as a whole, you're going to understand, all right, this is a moment I need to pull my camera out and start filming. Something could happen at any moment here. Or whatever. It's just understanding that is just 100% going to make you better at filming hunts. And it's just like if you're going to film anything, if you're going to go film something about rock climbing or mountaineering, you better understand that, and you probably better be pretty good at that to be out there and filming that discipline. And it's with anything. If you're going to film something about sports, you better know the sport that you're trying to film and capture. It really doesn't matter if you're going to film something about cars, you better know a bunch of things about the cars you're filming, because if you don't, you're going to miss opportunities to capture shots or features or unique things about that specific genre that you may have just looked over if you didn't know anything about it. So I feel like most people, if you're going to get into filming hunts, you probably like hunting already, but it's a continual learning process. The hunting is, and so the better you can get to it, the more time you can commit to it on your own during the off season, the better you're going to be at filming hunts. So number 3, and this one is maybe a little bit controversial slightly, but I think most people would agree with me, and it's being in shape. Most of the hunts that I go on, I want to be the most in shape guy on that hunt, and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I am by a mile, but I train year round to be in shape to go on hunts. This is important, especially if you're wanting to get really good gigs with good companies, because if you think about it, like, fitness is a huge part of the hunting industry, and most people that you see in films and in content are in shape. So if you want to go out and capture content of those people, you got to at least be on par with those guys in most situations. Especially if you're going on backpack hunts, if you're going on 7-10 day backpack trips, and you have to carry all of your food, and water for multiple days, you got to be able to be ready and prepared for that stuff. So, and that comes with 2 things, and that comes with training in the off season, and then it also comes with just getting that experience on your own. So I go on long backpack trips for my own hunts just to be comfortable out there in the woods. And then the rest of the year, even during hunting season, when I'm not on a hunt, I'm always training. So I'm at the gym and I run a bunch. Now, you don't have to run. You don't have to go to the gym every day. You can do different things. There's a lot of guys that will ruck a bunch. Whatever will get you in shape for being on those types of hunts is the best option. If you don't care about filming hunts and you're just trying to go on your own hunts, it doesn't really matter as much because you're just going at your own pace. But if you're trying to be there to capture someone's hunt, you just kind of want to be there. You don't want to have to be a burden on the people that you're trying to capture. So being in shape is definitely a very, very important thing when you're capturing hunts and just getting more jobs. People will definitely refer you to others if you do a good job, if you keep up, if you're there and committed the whole time. So that's important. I'm not saying you need to run marathons to kill big animals, but it helps. Just kidding. Okay, fourth thing is, and this one's really important, especially for newer guys starting out in the industry, trying to get into content creation. It's gear doesn't always matter, but knowing how to use it does. So, and what this means, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you don't have to have the best gear, the best camera, the best lens, the best microphones to capture a hunt and make a really good film or piece of content from the hunt. The biggest thing is knowing how to use your gear. So if you have a cheaper camera with maybe like a all-around lens, you can go capture any hunt, and you can actually do a pretty dang good job if you know a few basics like how your camera is working, how your lens is working at different focal lengths with different apertures, how the audio is going to be picked up through the microphone. You'd have the best microphone in the world, and you can go film a hunt, and your audio is going to be terrible because you didn't think about things like wind or the settings on your camera capturing the audio. Um, it's just all things that you got to kind of get some trial and error from, and also just learn from other people and understand how all this gear works. The great thing about camera gear is that the hunting industry, if you want to learn about how to use camera gear, don't look at the hunting industry. Go look at on YouTube at people who are making reviews and videos and stuff on camera gear, because you're going to learn a lot more from those guys than you are from hunters. With that is knowing composition and how to frame shots and what types of shots are going to portray which type of emotions. I don't think about it a ton when I'm out there filming, but I definitely try to keep in mind, like, okay, what is my character feeling in this moment? What is the hunter thinking right now? And try to portray that through the through the lens, right? Through what type of shots I'm choosing. Am I going to shoot down low, up tight? Am I gonna get like a wide shot on their face? Am I gonna scoot back a little bit and get like a vast mountainscape? Just really thinking about all those things, and knowing what you want to capture for what emotions you want to tell. It kind of leads us right into the next tip, which is filming with the edit in mind. So when I'm capturing a hunt, I'm constantly thinking about how I'm going to edit the film as I'm going. The great thing about a hunt film is most of the time it's pretty basic. You're just going along, you're going with the flow of how the hunt's going. So you're gonna wake up in the morning, you're gonna go to your glassing knob, you're gonna glass for a while, you might spot an animal, you're gonna put a stock on it and try to get a shot. It's a basic timeline, but it's really important to think about how you're going to edit it while you're filming it. So there's two big tips on this one that I'm going to give you guys. First one is making sure you're really capturing the talking points throughout the day of each hunt. So I always make sure when I'm filming someone, I'm gonna capture, or when I'm doing my own videos, is I'm gonna capture some voice, some talking stuff right in the morning. So it's like, all right, it's like day one. We're getting up right now. We're gonna head to the glassing knob, glass for a few hours. Hopefully we can find something. I'm gonna capture, and pretty much every time something changes throughout the hunt, I'm trying to capture this voice recording just so I have a story in words as we're going, because it's way easier to use the current moment when you're editing rather than try to record some audio later in like an interview and put it in. So just for an example, it doesn't have to be this way, but we get up in the morning, we're going to film a talking head shot real quick. Okay, it's day one, we're heading up to the glassing knob, hopefully we find something. We get to the glassing knob, I'm going to get another talking head shot. I might not use one or the other, but I'm just going to get them throughout the day as we go so I have them. So we get to the glassing knob. All right, guys, we got up to the glassing knob. We've been sitting here for 5 minutes right now, haven't seen anything yet, but we're just going to keep looking. Okay, and then we're moving on. Next headshot might be, all right, guys, we just found a deer that we're trying to find. He's 1,200 yards across the canyon. We're going to have to make a move and get on him, so we're going to pack up our stuff and get over there. And as these changes are happening, you're capturing that talking point. That's the biggest thing that I had to learn when I started filming, is get those talking heads, because that's what tells your story. The second thing, and this is like kind of the next level, the additional to the talking head points, and this is you're getting your B-roll. I heard something the other day from a guy that I know. He says, um, for every talking head shot that you capture, you should capture at least 3 other shots that support that talking head shot. So, um, moving back to our example, for the first talking head shot early in the morning, when they're saying like, all right, it's day 1, we're gonna have our glassing up. I'm gonna get a shot of the guy is unzipping his tent, getting out of his tent, putting his boots on, and then hiking up the hill. Those are 3 shots that are going to support what he's just talking about. And then you can overlay those on the video as he's talking. That way you're not just getting only talking head shots. You can make the story flow better and get some visuals into the story. So that's super important. And it's another thing that's always on my mind. So I'm filming the person doing something and they're glassing. I'm filming their boots. I'm filming their hands. I'm filming their face. I'm filming grass moving, if the wind's blowing, or trees, or snow falling, whatever is going to help tell that story throughout the film. And it changes on every hunt, but I'm just looking for those little details, those little things, or the big details that tell the story throughout the hunt. And those 2 things are just like, that's gold right there. Like, if you can get those 2 things down, you can make a film. And then it's pretty easy to edit, because all you got to do is line up your talking head points, add your B-roll on top of that, maybe space out some of those talking head points with some music, and some B-roll going through there, and you've got a film. So when you break it down simple, it's really easy. But when you go out there in the field and you're trying to do it, it's definitely not as easy as it sounds. But it can become easy the more you do it. Kind of like, I'm at a point where if I'm gonna make an easy, like just a hunt film, it's super easy. But I want to kind of push myself and try to learn some more things, and push that envelope of what a hunt film can actually be. But as far as making a film, that part I've got nailed down super easy. So um, and there's nothing stopping anyone from doing it. I literally just laid out the rules for making a hunt film. That's pretty much all I got. So that's kind of like the 5 tips that I wanted to share with you guys for making your hunt films better. All of those can be applied to your own hunts or filming other people's hunts. And it's just something that I wanted to just kind of share a few things with you and put it out there. If you have any questions, if you have any advice, questions, whatever, hit me up, shoot me a DM on Instagram, leave a comment on YouTube. I love interacting with everyone on here, and I'm super happy to be sharing a bunch of this information. I know a lot of people have gained a lot of good things from it. So thanks for watching, you guys. We got podcasts coming out every week, every Tuesday. So if you missed a few, definitely go check them out. There's some good ones out there, and we will catch you guys next week.